It's no question that the C8 is a huge, monumental, big word insert here success, but it has no natural predators. Why not? It's the only affordable mid-engine two-seater running around. I mean, minus the Cayman, but that's not quite supercar territory like the C8 is about to be. So yeah, let's dive into this weird segment that the C8 Corvette is kind of carved for itself. Now, before we dive into the nitty-gritty about this video, why there isn't more C8 type cars around, I do want to point out that outside of the supercar, hypercar world, they're not the most practical car. It definitely makes the cabin a lot smaller. However, since the beginning of the automotive inception, people love racing, people love speed, and this is the most efficient way to put down power. And there's no question there's a market for a fast car. Porsche has been doing it for a long time. And again, when it comes to straight line performance, sound, which is kind of opinion and subjective, but it does give you much more visceral sound having the motor right behind you. Efficiency and handling, mid-engine is the apex, if you will. Now, if you're not familiar, this is not GM's first attempt at a mid-engine car. Enter the Pontiac Fiero. About 1983, this little gem showed up on the scene, sporting either a 2.5 or 2.8 V6, both crap, which is unfortunate. Now, the car was pretty much a failure from a sales perspective and performance perspective in the 80s. There is more of a cult following now. People are doing a lot more unique things with them. But for what it was and the price at the time, it just fell right on its face. But yeah, they were completely unreliable. The engines caught fire, just underwhelming. They even did a mid-model refresh. It looked a little better. It didn't help too much, unfortunately. And these things were produced on a shoestring budget, very similar to the C5's inception, which is kind of neat. Oh, and did I mention the manual gearbox was actually borrowed from Isuzu? So there's that. But nonetheless, GM did try to make a mid-engine car ahead of its time with the resources they had, so I'll give them credit for that. And also, don't think that all mid-engine cars are strictly two seats. There are some cars on the market and have been on the market that have more than two seats that are mid-engine. For instance, the 911 has a back seat. Not real functional, but it's there. You got a small kid, it could work. The Lotus Evora, very similar. It's got a Toyota mid-engine, beside the point, but it has a back seat. The McLaren F1, mid-engine, it's got 3 seats. If you're not familiar, you sit in the middle, kind of like an Indy car, and then you're flanked by people to your left and right. So you actually have to climb over a seat to get to this driver's seat. That's beside the point. But what I'm saying is it is possible to make a mid-engine car with more than just 2 seats. Just throwing it out there. As of right now, the C8 Corvette has no natural predators. It's kind of an island by itself. The closest being, which magazines will tell you, is a 911, which starts at roughly $40,000 more than the C8. I'm not talking about the grossly inflated markup that they're going through right now, but the actual MSRP. Ford has its own mid-engine car, that's a Ford GT, and it costs about 8 times as much as the C8 Corvette. That's pretty much a hypercar. Cool car, but it's not for the everyday person like a Corvette is. Now, obviously, car manufacturers over the last 2 years have taken note on how much of a hit the C8 Corvette is, and I wonder if any of them have a mid-engine type platform coming down the pipeline. There's clearly a huge demand. Wouldn't it be cool to see Ford come out of nowhere with the Thunderbird mid-engine? I mean, after all, the Thunderbird used to be the Corvette's direct rival, but Ford chose to go the more luxurious route, while Corvette kept it more sporty. But there was a time when they were head-to-head back in the 50s and 60s, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it'd be cool to see Ford just totally just shake up the game with the Ford Thunderbird mid-engine, all business, all the time, flat plane crank, you name it, it's got it. That'd be cool. Are they gonna do it? No, Ford's stupid. And then you got Dodge, too busy farting around trying to see the biggest motor they can put in whatever car they have, you know? It's getting kind of absurd. I never thought I'd say that, but come on, Dodge, come on. The Challenger has been out, but it feels like 30 years. You gotta change it up a little bit. And the clear competitor for the Corvette off and on the last 25 years is the Viper. It would make sense for Dodge to make a mid-engine Viper. I made a video a while ago why the Corvette needs the Viper and vice versa. Hopefully it comes back in mid-engine form. Even now, it'd be cool to see another competitor, you know, in the Corvette segment. But we also know that Dodge always liked to price the Viper about 30% more than the Corvette. So the price on that would be stupid. And what about you, Toyota? What about a cool new MR2? After that debacle Supra we got, you owe us something. Come on, you gotta have something laying around you can make a cool mid-engine situation out of. We're all waiting. So what's the deal? Why is Chevy the only one with a exotic fighting machine like the C8? The risk and the cost involved. At the end of the day, they're just not practical, like I said, which is unfortunate. And it does appeal to a small segment of car shoppers. However, the C8's kind of changing that narrative with the huge demand of the Corvette. And typically people that buy mid-engines, they're single or just a young married couple, typically don't have a family. It's hard to haul, you know, a family around, especially if it's your only car. So yeah, big picture perspective, it comes down to money, which is unfortunate, but I also understand where they're coming from. It is a gamble, and there's a good chance you're gonna hemorrhage money if it's a dud. You know, a lot of R&D will go into it, and they'll fall on their face, and it's just unfortunate. No one wins in that scenario, you know? However, GM did it. They gambled, and they won. They won big. They had a tried and true design and engineering team. The Corvette team is amazing. There's a ton of documentaries on them. They're pretty cool to watch all over YouTube. And for another competitor to come out and capture lightning in the bottle the way the C8 did is highly improbable, not impossible. But I think if competitors want to keep up with the C8, they got to do something. I mean, look at Ford's GT500. It's a $90,000 flat plane crank. It's an amazing Mustang for what it is. It's very expensive, but it just can't keep up with the mid-engine physics of the C8. And the C8 right now, and it's in its base form, it has no problem keeping up with a car that's got 250 more horsepower. Now I know once you stretch their legs in both the cars, the GT500 is going to catch it. It becomes a horsepower race at that point. But off the line, you know, it's much more efficient than a rear-wheel drive platform is going to be. So what are they going to do to compensate that? Because you have probably 4 more tiers of C8 coming out. It's going to destroy anything domestic. But yeah, until the appeal of the C8 supercarness wears off, you can't expect to pay a premium. But these aren't a rare car. The C8 is not going to be a rare car. They're going to make 30,000 plus of these per year. It's a matter of time before you start seeing them everywhere and people start getting a little bored with them, and you will eventually get to catch one, scoop one up at a huge bargain. I saw 2 today in Virginia Beach. So yeah, they're out there. Now, ironically enough, I think the next brand to rival the C8 in its platform is going to be Cadillac. About a year ago, I came across a photo, if I can find it, I'll put it here, of a Cadillac key fob, which is almost identical to the C8 key fob. Just has a little Cadillac logo, and they put so much R&D into this platform. I don't see them making a one-off car, just a C8. I'd like to see them resurrect the XLR, see what they can do with that. Now, obviously, just because it's Cadillac, it's probably going to cost about 30% more. But man, if this thing's got crazy numbers, why not? You know, this thing could easily be another Ferrari, McLaren fighting American GM product. I think that's pretty neat. So maybe, yeah, maybe Cadillac will keep Corvette on its toes and vice versa, you know? You always want competition. And you know damn well, if Cadillac comes out with another mid-engine and it sells like a son of a bitch, other manufacturers are going to be beating themselves. You know what I mean? It's like pissing off the pot. What are you doing? Are you going to make it or not? And one quick little honorable mention as far as mid-engine cars go on the market. That's the Alfa Romeo 4C. It's a fun little car. I haven't driven one, but the reviews are pretty good. The looks aren't for everyone. I've seen a couple in person. They look pretty neat. The sound's pretty unique for such a tiny motor. The interior of the cockpit's really nice. It's almost like a little baby 570S, like a watered down version. You can scoop one of those up for like 45. So it's kind of a bargain for a mid-engine car. But yeah, they're kind of neat. If you're on the fence about getting a C8, but the price is kind of scaring you off, you don't want to wait, look at a 4C. They're kind of neat. Alright gang, that's it for my little rant today. I just wanted to do a little mid-engine talk. So I got some more Corvette news coming out either tomorrow or Thursday. I like doing those segments, so make sure you tune in for that show this week sometime. And I will catch you guys later. Mark out.